I swear I should. Okay. I swear I shouldn't be so shocked when it happens, but game reviewers actually use the entire review scale for a video game. Hi, this is Jake, your resident content cowboy here. Yeehaw! And today I wanted to talk to you about Biomutant. I was surprised at the review scores for Biomutant. I actually thought this was going to be a really, really big game and it was going to be widely praised. Now, to be fair, I didn't know what the full game entailed. All we saw were the teasers and the exciting footage and thinking, oh, it's like a massive open world kung fu Breath of the Wild. This sounds great. I'm not saying the reviews are even wrong for Biomutant. Let me point that out. We all know that game reviewers are some of the most honest people, and they always use the full scale for their reviews, which means Biomutant is one of the worst games ever, right? I haven't played Biomutant, so I'm not going to be talking to you about the quality of Biomutant and dissecting it and deciding what the review score should be. But I think it's pretty clear that once again, a game has come out, and this game, everyone decided to possibly review it fairly. Maybe even review it a little harsher than they would have with some other games. Let's head on over to OpenCritic and take a look at this. Here we are in OpenCritic with Biomutant getting a 67 from top critics and 40% of critics recommending the game. Now, a 67 still is kind of within that window of where games get reviewed at nowadays, but I've noticed the reviews for this game are particularly harsh. Or, here's the flip side, the thing that we can never figure out. Are they particularly harsh? Or is it just that most games don't get reviewed fairly? For instance, let's take a look at a game like Cyberpunk. We all remember Cyberpunk 2077. Even at this point, after all the controversy and all of the later negative reviews come out, Cyberpunk is still at a 76. Now, I'm not saying Cyberpunk is not a better game than Biomutant, but we remember the reviews that came out at the start of Cyberpunk 2077. We remember the 9s and 10s it was getting from all these places, even though there really was no way that they could fully confidently give that game that score. Now, I'm not saying that game reviewers are sort of in a bought and paid situation. Far be it from me to say that. If that's what you want to say, that's on you. I would never say that about one of the most trusted groups out there, game reviewers. Let's take a look at another game to help illustrate my point. Star Wars Squadrons. Star Wars Squadrons, in my opinion, is a phenomenally underwhelming game. There's nothing particularly wrong with it, and I would also say there's nothing right with it. That's my opinion on the game. If you love Star Wars Squadrons, by all means, go play Star Wars Squadrons. No one's stopping you. But I think it is a very, very underwhelming video game, and the reviews I'm reading for Biomutant, they could easily be plopped in score-wise for how I think Star Wars Squadrons could be reviewed. What I'm basically saying by this is some games get made an example of and some games don't. Some games have all this hype surrounding them, and because of all that hype, people give it at least a better score. People are scoring Star Wars Squadrons in the classic 7 to 10 scale. However, Biomutant gets scored with some pretty low scores. 3.5 out of 10, 2 out of 5, 4 out of 10, 4 out of 10, 4 out of 10, 4 out of 10, 4.5 out of 10, 45 out of 100, which is 4.5 out of 10, 5 out of 10. These are low scores from some of their top critics. And again, I'm not saying the score isn't right. Maybe it's right. If you've played Biomutant, I want to hear what you think in the comments. Actually, if you played Biomutant, Cyberpunk, Star Wars Squadrons, I would love to hear you compare the three, but I just find it fascinating that some games get the full spectrum of a review, and other games somehow walk away with a review in the 7s and 8s where you know there's no way that game could be a 7 or 8. Star Wars Squadrons, I think, sucks. I'm not trying to be a jerk about it, but it's not a good game. It's so bland. It's so boring. And when I read the reviews of Biomutant, it sounds bland and boring. But let's say the reviews are telling the truth for Biomutant. I think the reviews are not telling the truth for Star Wars Squadrons. My opinion, I recognize. But I think if people were being honest about a brand new EA title that probably bought advertising on their site or something like that, there's no way it would be scored like that. And if people were honest about their Cyberpunk scores, maybe it does land around a 76 if you have a great computer or something like that. But everything that happened with Cyberpunk and the fact that a game like Star Wars Squadrons can walk away with a 79, almost an 8 on a scale of 1 to 10, assuming that there are numbers that are used at the bottom of that scale. That's bizarre to me. Let's read some of these Biomutant reviews. I wanted to love Biomutant. I was rooting for Biomutant. Come on, Jake. I wanted to embrace this game, and it just wouldn't let me. 3.5 out of 10. Despite some interesting ideas, Biomutant commits the cardinal sin of media. It's boring, and that ultimately seals its fate. So is Star Wars Squadrons. Biomutant is the least fun I've had with a game for a while. Broken, shallow, and above all boring. And again, I'm not saying that these aren't true. They might be true. This might be a game that people should stay away from. It very well could be. However, I don't know. I feel like when you read these reviews, they're reviewers actually being honest or maybe even more critical than they would normally be because they can with Biomutant. Because Biomutant isn't published by one of these massive companies that they need to kowtow to. That's just my opinion. Maybe I'm completely wrong. But you know what? I recently found out I actually am never wrong. Except on a previous video I made where I thought a character was a girl and was a boy. I hope you found that interesting. I think there's a deeper topic here. Why do game reviewers get to treat some games like this and other games not at all? Is it really just because they pay the money? Is it really just because EA pays the bills? It could be that simple. I also just feel like there's something in the air. You know, a lot of these people know each other. They talk a little bit, and all of a sudden, the conversation goes, so, where are you landing on this whole Biomutant thing? I'm pretty underwhelmed. I don't even know if they have to lie about their score. Maybe they just tell their friend, I was thinking to score it at a 5. And the other person goes, honestly, it's a 4. And they go, hey, you could convince me it's a 4. I know. I'm talking about a group that has the utmost of integrity. So what am I saying? But there we go. Biomutant. Maybe these are the right scores, but I think they're pretty harsh. I do. And I think this is the game they can be pretty harsh with. So it's really interesting to see. But let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I will see you all next time. Mwah.